Welcome back to our YouTube channel, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, it is a great privilege to have you back, and thank you very much for choosing our show. Ladies and gentlemen, the UDA regime is scared stiff about the Saba demonstration that is scheduled tomorrow. And William Ruto does not know how to neutralize the demonstrations ahead. You know, William Ruto looked for a temporary, a makeshift kind of solution to deal with a permanent problem. In his very wisdom or lack of the same, William Ruto welcomed Raila Amolo Odinga into his government, thinking that that would quell all the tension. But much to his chagrin, tension is building much faster and bigger than he expected. Now, what they're trying to do is to point an accusing finger to Rigathi Gachagua and the opposition. They have decided to block all their conscience to the cries of Kenyans because Gen Zs are saying, we have a regime that does not listen to us and we want to force it to listen to us. But William Ruto has got only one solution: the power of the bullet. That is the only thing that he has remained with. Now, today, there are three things that have happened that really demonstrates that the government is really scared stiff. We've seen the clergy urging the government to exercise a lot of restraint as they deal with the demonstrators. We've also seen Murkomen warning that they will not entertain those who want to vandalize property. Questions are being asked whether it is the opposition or the government that is secretly sneaking in goons into the demonstrations, because the other day we saw goons reporting back to City Hall telling the governor to mechunga boma. So, ladies and gentlemen, there is a video that has been going viral that William Ruto was rushing out of State House. I don't know how true is this, but those who are giving us this video is saying that, William Ruto could be running away from what is planned tomorrow.
Sasa huyo ameenda wapi? Jioni si tunaenda nyumbani, anatoka. Lakini Ruto ako na kierere sana. Unaenda wapi usiku? Hebu unaona wanaume utoka jioni. Yeye detail yote na labda amebebwa na hiyo ambulance.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we cannot authoritatively verify and conclusively come out and deduce that indeed William Ruto was running away from the demonstrations ahead. We cannot do that. But I want to give you just three reasons why I believe that even if William Ruto was not running away from the much anticipated, demonstration, because the government is really scared and running away from their shadows, and they believe that someone is trying to topple the government of William Ruto. That is what they think. When you've lost touch with the people whom you've shouted all your lungs saying that these are the people who voted you overwhelmingly into power, and you have ditched them, all the promises that you gave are not being realized, then you start running away from yourself. So what are some of these reasons that shows that indeed the government is scared and they feel that it's not going to be business as usual, because they have looked at the trends over the past few weeks. Number one, for most of the parents, you must have received a communication, maybe through the WhatsApp groups or some letters, that tomorrow there will be no schools. And you see, for the board or any leadership in schools to come out with that conclusion and decide that schools will be people, so students will not go to school tomorrow, especially in Nairobi, then you know that they have got leaked intelligence report that things might not be, very palatable tomorrow. So this tells me that even the government knows very well that we've got a determined youth and their numbers are really scaring. We were informed very late that there will be no schools tomorrow. And when I contacted many other parents, they were telling me the same, because even before that, parents were really, really scared. They kept on asking, what will be the fate of our children in school tomorrow? So most of the schools are closed. The last time I saw schools being closed were two things. One, Corona. Corona forced schools to be closed for quite some time, and Raila Amolo Odinga and his demonstrations also at some point forced schools to be closed. Now that Ruto took Raila Amolo Odinga and thinking that this was a way of neutralizing Gen Zs, you've just realized that there's a growing concern, because Gen Zs have really intensified their quest for justice, even more than Raila used to do it. Some people thought that, without Raila it cannot happen. Ruto is realizing that it's becoming much bigger, much tensed than he could imagine. So Gen Zs have forced William Ruto, and most schools will be closed. When you see schools being closed, most businesses will also be closed. And when businesses are closed, there is a very huge loss of revenue, and the government loses quite a lot of money. So by closing schools, markets, businesses, I tell you, it is not going to be business as usual. In fact, this is one of the reasons why William Ruto sent Raila to organize for a parallel kind of meetings in court to try and neutralize this. Number two, when you listen to some of the adherents of the broad-based government, you realize that there is fear that is registered in their voices. Now, youth that had gone for a Diani summertime beach party have been blocked from coming back to Nairobi. How scared can you be? They are assuming that all the youths who attended that party are pro one term. But you cannot blame them. In fact, I was reading something here, just how they have even cancelled the SGR. There's something here that Kenya Railways public notice temporary suspension of Madaraka Express passenger service train. We regret to notify members of the public that due to technical issues, the Madaraka Express 10 p.m. passenger train from Mombasa to Nairobi has been suspended. Kenya Railways prioritizes the safety of our passengers. We apologize for any inconvenience caused. Managing Director. You see, they have just decided that youths who wanted to come back after that Diani party have been blocked. And if you look, just check at how the police did it.
Madness. Ndio makosa ya kwanza ni kufikiria tunaokoka.
Now, William Ruto equates the Saba demonstrations to being tantamount to an attempt of removing him from power. These youths who have been blocked from coming back to Nairobi were singing one term and Ruto must go. This is how things happened as they headed for that party.
Go, watch your fire, Ruto must. enyewe Ruto must go. Enyewe Ruto must go. By the way, Ruto must go. Enyewe Ruto must go. Enyewe Ruto must go. Enyewe Ruto must go. By the way, Ruto must go. Enyewe Ruto must go. Enyewe.
So just because youths were singing one term, they have been blocked from coming back to Nairobi. So when the government puts that brave face and tells you that they are not scared about the demonstrations, you know, they fear because the numbers are swelling every day. Anytime there is a party, a music festival, when youth meet for any sports session, there will always be one term, Ruto must go. And Saba is a very big thing in this country. So I think NIS has told Ruto that they must try to minimize and curtail the numbers of youths in Nairobi as much as they can. Because when youths go out there and they're singing Ruto must go, Ruto fears that they can have the numbers and the guts to march to State House. That will give Ruto, will put Ruto in a very awkward situation. One, he will be forced through the security apparatus to kill them. Remember, Ruto's hands has been soiled in Gen Z's blood so much that the more the police kill them, the police, there is the enmity between them widens and stiffens. Ruto understands that the international community is looking at him, everything that he does. So he fears that. And that is why whenever youths are gathered around, Ruto just fears that, he fears for the worst. When you listen to people like Oburu Odinga, Gaucho, they have got this feeling that demonstrations can only happen when they give it a clean bill of health. It is like they have now turned to be dictators on what people should do. And I told you in my earlier video that they really feel very bad that people can demonstrate without them. They thought that by joining William Ruto, that would be the end of every demonstration. They don't understand that people always go to the street because there is this earnest quest for justice, for democracy to be respected, for the rule of law to be respected. So, ladies and gentlemen, the government is scared. Tomorrow is not going to be very easy because William Ruto's only defense, only shield is the power of the bullet. If you look at the number of people that were killed over the past few weeks during demonstrations, you'll understand what I mean. So what is Gaucho saying about the demonstrations ahead? You would think that they own our opinion, they own our freedom. When they say stop, we stop. When they say go for demonstrations, we go. They will be shocked that we don't owe them any apology. We don't need to ask them when we want to go to the street. They told us that tukifeel tunauma tuende kwa street, hatuwezi depend on Raila kila siku kwenda kudemonstrate. Now people have decided that they're going without Raila. Wanasikia vibaya. And tomorrow, you will see two parallel groups. Something that has been created deliberately by the government of Kenya. We are waiting for tomorrow and we will be updating you by every second on what is happening. But one thing I told you, a luta continua. You cannot stop an idea whose time has come. They won't believe it.